I still have it. A binder with paper maps of Magic Kingdom from different years, folded into quarters, soft at the creases from being opened and closed so many times. But this one's special. There's pin marks all over it, circles around FastPass kiosks that don't exist anymore, a star next to a restaurant. We didn't plan that trip with an app. We planned it at the kitchen table the night before. That map spread out and a pin between us deciding together what tomorrow was going to be like. I pulled that map out a few months ago, sat there staring at it longer than I wanted to admit. This video isn't about a ride that closed, a policy that changed. It's about something smaller and somehow harder to explain. The physical, tangible things that used to be part of going to Disney World that quietly disappeared while nobody was paying attention, and why even now I'm not entirely over losing them. I'm Lee with All About the Duck, and this is part 6 of Disney World's 100 Trips of Hard Lessons. If you missed any of the earlier episodes, they're linked in the description. This one's a little more personal than usual. I want to start with that map because it's really the whole video in miniature. There was a ritual to planning a Disney trip that doesn't exist anymore. You'd get a paper park map at the gate, sometimes a whole guidebook too, if you bought burn bombs ahead of time. And the night before each park day, you'd sit down as a family and actually plan it out. Where do we want to eat? What time's the parade? Should we go to Tomorrowland in the morning or save it for lunch? That planning happened together at the table with a paper map in front of everybody. Now the plan lives in an app on your phone, and honestly, the app does it better in almost every measurable way. Real-time wait times, mobile ordering, reservations you could move it with a tap. But something about doing it together with a pen and paper you could fold up and put back in your pocket, that's gone. And I don't think the app ever fully replaced it, because the app is something you check. The map was something you made. Before we'd leave for a trip, something would show up in the mailbox. The trip felt real the day that envelope showed up. Disney used to send planning materials, brochures, sometimes a video, information about the resort and the parks, and it would arrive weeks before you left. I remember genuinely looking forward to checking the mailbox during that stretch, because there was a real chance something Disney shaped would be sitting in there, which, if you knew me back then, was basically the only mail I was excited about. Everything else was bills. It sounds small. It probably was small. But there was something about a piece of mail showing up at your actual house, physical proof that the trip was real and getting closer, that a push notification on your phone has never quite managed to replicate. A notification disappears the second you swipe away. That envelope sat on the counter for days. You could pick it up, look at it again. Here's one that's going to sound strange to everybody who's ever booked a Disney dining through an app. We used to call an actual phone number, an actual hold time, and then an actual person on the other end of the line would help us book dining reservations. 180 days out. Sometimes that call took a while. And I'll be honest, sometimes that was me, because I'd start asking about restaurants we had no business considering. Sometimes the person on the other end would tell us about something new, genuinely have a conversation with us about it. It's objectively less efficient than what we do now. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Booking dining today takes 30 seconds in the app, and it's a real improvement. But that phone call was a moment. It was a person on a specific day helping plan a specific trip for our specific family. Now it's a database query that happens instantly and perfectly and completely without anyone on the other end of it. Better systems, I still miss the moment. When the kids were little, they each carried an autograph book, a real one, a little book with blank pages, a fat marker tucked into the spine, and every character we met would hold it open and wait. Mickey's signature looked different than Donald. Donald's looked different than Goofy's. Every character had their own actual handwriting, and you could watch them concentrate on it. Watch the pen move across the page in their gloved hands. We still miss those books. I pulled one out a while back and just sat with it. Pages and pages of character signatures collected over the years of trips. Our kids' names written in by whoever was checking them in at that day. Little smudges where their little hands held the book open too tight. A lot of character interactions have a digital version now, something through the app, something that lives on a screen. And I understand why. It's easier, it's more consistent, it scales to the number of guests Disney sees every day in a way a paper book and a marker could never do. But a screen doesn't smudge. A screen doesn't have a kid's handwriting next to Mickey's signature from 1990 something. Our kids are grown now, and those autograph books are some of the only physical objects we have from those trips that they could actually hold in their hands again. There used to be mailboxes inside the parks, actual mailboxes where you could drop a postcard and it would go out postmarked from Walt Disney World itself. We mailed postcards to ourselves a few times over the years, not anyone else, to our own houses, so they'd be waiting for us when we got home. A little proof the trip had actually happened, written in our own handwriting from inside the parks, arriving after we had already made it back to ordinary life. I don't know exactly when we stopped doing that. It wasn't a decision, it just stopped being something we thought about doing. The same way the autograph books stopped coming out and the paper maps stopped getting folded up in our back pockets. The boxes are still there. We just stopped noticing them. Here's the thread running through all of it. And here's why I think it still gets me more than the ride closures or the policy changes. Every one of these things, the map, the mail, the phone call, the autograph books, the postcards, required time. They asked something of you. And in exchange, they left behind something you could hold, something with your own handwriting on it, a character's actual signature, a postmark from a specific day you were actually there. What replaced almost all of it is faster, smarter, and more convenient in every measurable way. I'm not arguing otherwise. The app genuinely does more than any paper map could do. But convenience doesn't leave artifacts behind. You don't find a push notification in a drawer years later and sit there in a way I sat with that map. There's nothing to smudge, nothing to fold, nothing with a kid's handwriting in the margin. I think that's an actual loss. Not that anything got worse, almost everything got better, functionally. It's that so much of what made a Disney trip feel like it had weight. We still have the map, we still have the autograph books. They're not going anywhere. And here's the thing, nothing is stopping us from bringing some of these back ourselves. Nobody requires you to plan your trip entirely through an app. You could still get paper maps at the gate and mark them up with a pen at the kitchen table the night before. You could still hand a kid a notebook and a marker and let them collect a signature instead of a digital stamp. You can still make yourself a postcard from inside the park. Disney didn't take these things away from us. Not really. They just stopped putting them in front of us by default. The thing that made those trips feel like they had weight are still entirely available. They just take a little more intention now than they used to. So if any of this hits you in a way that it hit me, go get a paper map on your next trip. Hand your kid a real autograph book. Mail yourself a postcard. 30 years from now, you'll be glad you have something to hold. Next week, we're telling you what nobody told us before we bought DVC, the real numbers, the real trade offs, and what we'd want to know if we were sitting where you might be sitting now. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And as always, see you real soon.